Before I get started on this review video, I need to address the quality of the footage that you're looking at right now. I'm not sure if this is a result of my capture card starting to go bad, or of outdated firmware, outdated software, so forth and so on. So with that said, you may see a lot of repeated footage in this video. I do apologize about that, and I'm currently going through all my footage as I'm editing this video. I'm currently filtering through all my content to see what is good and what can be used. So once again, if you see a lot of repeated footage, this is the reason why. Now that that is out of the way, let's talk about this review video. Welcome to a new episode of the 90s Metal Gamer, where we stay hydrated and play video games. I would consider Metroid Dread to be a true return to form game, meaning that it went back to its roots where it all began, and where all the success began as well. Needless to say, I am still on my Metroid kick. I had so much fun playing Metroid Prime on the GameCube and replaying Metroid Fusion on the GBA. Although it really wasn't a GBA, it was emulated on my RetroPie, but that doesn't matter. I still had fun playing it. If you watched my review video over Metroid Fusion and Metroid Prime, you would know that Metroid is known for being stupid difficult. The Metroid series is not meant for the casual gamer. It is meant for the hardest of the hardcore. Well, maybe not that serious. This time around, Nintendo decided to bless us with the handicap and introduce the rookie setting. And that is the difficulty setting in which I played this game. I am not the gamer that I used to be. I can't go around and beat games on the hardest difficulty anymore. I like to enjoy my games and not be frustrated. And I'm more inclined to believe that's just me getting old. And I'm okay with that. Now let's talk about this review video. During this review, I want to go over the story, the gameplay, the graphics, and the music. And then wrap it all up with a water score. Let's get started.
And then the Lord said,
I want to see your tiny head.
I need to add on something about the difficulty of this game and how I played it. Yes, I played it on the easiest difficulty, which is the rookie difficulty. And I did not complete this game to 100% completion. That is the point of a casual review. And to any completion elitist that's going to say otherwise, go away. This video is not for you. Go watch The Completionist. He does 100% completion on his games. I do not. Since we're on the topic of The Completionist, I actually took a lot of inspiration from his channel to make these review videos. As for the repair and teardown videos, I get inspiration from Jacob R and Review Tech USA. Okay, I'm starting to get off topic as I do with every review video. This video is about Metroid Dread. If I had to sum up Metroid Dread in just a few words, it would be success through trial and error. This game requires you to think on a critical level, and to think outside the box if you want to complete a puzzle or to defeat a boss. And even on the easiest difficulty, there's still a lot of struggle to be had. The handicap that I was given was the enemies don't deal as much damage, and the health pickups give you more health. Samus Aran is the most badass that she's ever been in this game comparatively to any other Metroid game in the series, and I'll explain why, but not right now. Not only is she the most badass that she's ever been, but she's arguably the weakest, but yet at the same time the strongest. It sounds really confusing at first, but I'll explain it all while I go through this review video. The name Dread fits this game perfectly because the whole time you're playing this game, you get an overwhelming sense of dread just looming over your shoulders. And that feeling of dread just grows, especially when you're up against the Emmys. Let's get into this review. The entire Metroid series is non-linear, meaning that the order of the release of the games is not the order in which you should play them. I may have mentioned this in the Metroid Prime review video. According to the Metroid fandom page, Metroid Dread takes place after the events of Fusion, so I guess it's safe to say that Metroid Dread is a direct sequel to Metroid Fusion. And that would make a lot of sense considering the story that this game follows. After the events of Metroid Fusion, the Galactic Federation received a video transmission showing an X-Parasite alive and well, after we thought that Samus had gotten rid of them all. In response to seeing the X-Parasite still alive and well, the Galactic Federation was able to track down the source of the transmission to a planet named ZDR, and then they sent a team of 7 EMI to investigate. EMI is short for Extraplanetary Multiform Mobile Identifier, and they are a beast to be reckoned with. Shortly after the EMI were dispatched, the Galactic Federation lost communication with them. Thus, their only option was to send Samus to investigate what happened. Shortly after Samus lands on ZDR, she encounters a badass warrior that goes by the name of Ravenbeak. And here's what happens. And if you guessed this is where Samus loses all her abilities, you would be right. Samus lost her abilities during the fight with Ravenbeak, and it wouldn't be a proper Metroid game if she isn't nerfed of all of her abilities in the beginning of her game. Personally, I think the Dread suit is much more cooler and sleeker than the one she previously had, although she is significantly weaker. And this is where the story of Metroid Dread begins. Like any other Metroid game, once you're nerfed of all your abilities, you are at your absolute weakest. And as you play through the game, as you progress along, you will gain some of your latent abilities. But when you're up against an EMI, you are at a severe disadvantage. They are significantly stronger than you, and it is up to you to find a way to beat them. Luckily for you, throughout the game, there are these rooms that have brains in them that act as control rooms for the EMI. Once you defeat them, you'll gain an ability called the Omega Cannon. With this Omega Cannon, you have the ability to defeat an EMI, but it has to be done in the right timing. This EMI that I just defeated here was the very first EMI that I defeated. And so, of course, it wouldn't be a Metroid game if it did not get progressively harder. This EMI was significantly easier to beat in comparison to the EMIs that would come later in the game. And just in case you need a reminder of just how badass Samus Aran can be, here are some of the abilities that you will regain as you play through the game. You have your Wave Beam, your Diffusion Beam, Grapple Beam, Ice Missile, Storm Missile, Phantom Cloak, Flash Shift, Pulse Radar, your Gravity Suit, Morph Ball, Bomb, Cross Bomb, Power Bomb, Spider Magnet, Speed Booster, Space Jump, and last But most definitely not the least is the best attack out of them all, at least in my own opinion, the screw attack. I'm going to go ahead and put a spoiler alert disclaimer here. What I'm about to reveal to you is the ending of the game, but it is the most powerful that Samus has ever been. Just watch. I had never been this excited about beating any game, with the exception of God of War Ragnarok. And now if that doesn't say something about Metroid Dread, then I don't know what does. The gameplay overall was a very solid experience. The controls were, in my opinion, just a little bit difficult to learn, but very easy to master. To some people, the rookie difficulty is quite an easy experience, but considering that I'm just not that type of gamer anymore, the rookie difficulty was still very difficult. It took me about 3 hours just to finally understand what I needed to do to beat Ravenbeak. And it could also be that I may have stupid hands, but in order to make myself feel better about myself, I'm just going to go ahead and say that I'm not the gamer that I used to be in my teenage years. Up until I finally played Metroid Dread, I have severely underestimated the power of the Nintendo Switch. I did not know it was capable of producing such beautiful graphics. Whenever I see the genre side-scrolling platformer, I automatically think to either Mario Brothers, Sonic the Hedgehog, or pretty much anything that is on the Sega Genesis or the Super Nintendo. And I automatically think about 8-bit and 16-bit graphics. The genre of side-scrolling platformers are nearly dead, with the exception of a handful of titles keeping it alive, such as Crash Bandicoot and your very own Metroid. And I know for a fact there are plenty more out there that are keeping it alive, they are just not coming to my head. According to the Nintendo eShop, it is considered to be an action-adventure game, but I'll even take it a step further and say it is a survival horror game. Although the graphics may be all bright and colorful, do not be fooled by how it presents itself. This game is really dark. And of course I'm talking about the story of this game. But this segment is not about the story, this is about how it looks. Overall, I would say the presentation of this game is absolutely beautiful. I have been severely underestimating the power of the Nintendo Switch for the longest time. And I apologize for that. It definitely deserves much more appreciation than I am giving it. This may appear to be just your everyday side-scrolling platformer game, but do not treat it as such. It is definitely much deeper than that. This message here is for any naysayers that will downplay the Nintendo Switch. Just because it's a console that looks like it's for children, it is not just for children. I'm 35 years old, about to be 36, and I still love to play my Nintendo Switch. I'm actually looking forward to Tears of the Kingdom, and I can guarantee that you will get a review video over Tears of the Kingdom. Although it may not be in time, I'm in the middle of a career change, so bear with me. The Ravenbeak boss fight is my favorite music out of the entire game. It is very dramatic and it suits the fight perfectly. A very close second, if not second, then a tie for first is the introduction music. I feel like it gives a sense of heroism and urgency whenever you first listen to this song. Does anyone else feel like they're about to face an Avengers level threat? Because I most certainly do. You remember that dread feeling I was talking about earlier? Well, this is the music that amplifies it tenfold. The music adds to the overall experience of the game. Nintendo got it right. It makes you feel like you have to constantly look over your shoulder to see what's coming next. Overall, a great experience. I love it. Throughout this entire time when I was editing this video, I have been trying to find the right place to show you Ravenbeak in its X form, meaning that it was infected by the X parasite. Enjoy. This is what I mean by Samus was in her most badass form in this game. Truly unremarkable. Now to this day, I still don't understand a lot of the lore that surrounds Metroid, and I'm still trying to learn as I go along and play these games. And I would say out of the few Metroid games that I have played, Metroid Dread is where we see Samus's full potential. She is literally a walking army. And because I had so much fun playing this game, I will give this game a solid 5 out of 5 bottles of water. I highly recommend this game to anyone who owns a Nintendo Switch. It is unbelievably a very great game. Thank you for watching my video, I really do appreciate it. Drop a comment, let me know what you think of these style videos. I love y'all, stay hydrated, and I'll catch y'all in my next video.